Get her out of here. My sister's voice cut across the glass meeting room, sharp and embarrassed. Every head turned toward me. I stood near the door, holding a folder, dressed simply, looking exactly like what she thought I was, someone who didn't belong in a high-level corporate meeting. She didn't recognize me. Not really. Hey, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the bell. Your support means everything and helps me keep creating. Thank you so much. To her, I was still the younger sibling who never did anything serious, who worked quietly, who never talked about her job, who never bragged. She thought I had shown up by mistake. This meeting is for partners only, she snapped at the assistant. Why is she even here? The assistant looked confused. Ma'am, she's on the list. No, she's not, my sister said, irritated. She doesn't work here. I didn't say a word. I just watched, because this was the moment I had quietly waited for. 6 months earlier, the company my sister worked for had been struggling. Cash flow issues, failed expansion, investors pulling out silently. The board had started looking for a private backer to step in without making the situation public. That backer was me, but not under my name. I had invested through a holding firm anonymously. The deal was handled through lawyers, sealed with confidentiality clauses. Only the CEO and 2 board members knew the investor's real identity. And today was the first official strategy meeting after the deal closed. My sister, being a senior manager, had no idea who had saved the company she proudly worked for. She just knew someone powerful had stepped in, and now she was trying to throw that person out of the room. Please escort her out, she said again, louder this time. The CEO, who had been watching quietly, finally spoke. Actually, he said calmly, she stays. My sister turned, confused. Sir, you don't understand. She's my sister. She's not part of this. He gave a small, knowing smile. I understand perfectly. The room went silent. I walked to the table slowly and placed my folder down. My sister stared at me like I had just stepped into the wrong movie. What is this? She whispered. I opened the folder and slid a document across the table toward her. She read the heading. Her face drained of color. Major stakeholder agreement. My name. My signature. My company's seal. I think, I said calmly, taking a seat, we should start the meeting. The room stayed quiet for a moment, the kind of silence that makes people realize they've underestimated someone completely. My sister's jaw tightened. She looked around, hoping someone else would explain this. But everyone in the room, even the board members, simply nodded politely, refusing to intervene. Wait, she finally said, voice shaking slightly. This is your company? I nodded calmly. It's not under my name, but yes, I'm the backer who stepped in last quarter. All funding, all strategic support. You were working in the company I saved. Her eyes widened. You what? You're joking. I shook my head. No joke. Every decision you've been making, every plan you thought was funded by struggling investors, was actually covered by me. I'm the reason the company is solvent. Her face went pale. I could see the gears turning in her mind. She had always believed I was the quiet, unambitious sister. She had always laughed at my supposed lack of drive. And now, bam, she realized she had been wrong. Completely wrong. The CEO cleared his throat. She handled the investment quietly, yes. We kept the identity confidential until today to avoid favoritism or conflict. I can assure you, she has been instrumental in ensuring this meeting and the future plans proceed smoothly. My sister's hands trembled slightly as she gripped the edge of the table. All this time, you were the one funding everything? Yes, I said, voice calm, almost neutral. Every payroll, every expansion plan, every bonus your team received. The money came through my channels, through the trust and holding company I set up. Her shoulders slumped. The confident, controlling persona she always displayed melted into disbelief. She looked like she wanted to say something, to argue, but words failed her. Now, I continued, we need to address the new strategy for Q2. I've outlined the key points here. I opened my folder and distributed copies to the board members. The plan includes investment reallocations, potential mergers, and projected revenue streams. If everyone agrees, we can implement this immediately. She glanced around the room, still trying to regain some composure. You didn't tell anyone because her voice trailed. Because I wanted to see how the team performed without knowing who was behind the support, I said smoothly, I wanted to test leadership, decision-making, and initiative without influence. She swallowed hard. You tested us? Yes. And the results are impressive. The company survived turbulence and maintained growth. But the point is, I added, it's time you recognize the role every stakeholder, including me, plays in this organization. And that includes respecting contributions, even those made quietly. She looked down, her pride wounded, realizing she had judged me wrongly for years. She had assumed I was incapable, dependent, and weak. The truth? I had orchestrated the survival of the company she now worked in without anyone knowing. The CEO spoke again. Moving forward, confidentiality remains, but recognition is due. Let's proceed with the agenda. I leaned back in my chair, letting the moment settle. My sister couldn't stop staring, trapped between admiration, shock, and a strange realization that her younger sister, whom she had underestimated every step of the way, was not just capable but powerful. And in that silence, I understood something. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, and waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. Today was that moment. She had no idea who I really was, and that made every second of her shock all the sweeter. After the meeting, my sister cornered me near the elevator, her face a mix of anger, embarrassment, and disbelief. You've been behind everything, she hissed, trying to regain control of her voice. I smiled faintly. Yes, every funding decision, every emergency fix, every bonus, my initiative. You thought I was quiet, unambitious, insignificant. But I chose the moment carefully. She shook her head, struggling to speak. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you to see reality for yourself. I said, you always underestimated me, assumed I couldn't handle responsibility, assumed I'd stay in the background. Today proved otherwise. Her hands trembled as she realized she had been so wrong. She had judged, mocked, and dismissed me for years, yet here I was, the silent force behind the company she proudly worked for. She opened her mouth again, but no words came. She had lost the narrative, and for the first time, I was the one holding the power. I walked past her, calm and composed, leaving her in stunned silence. That day, she learned something she would never forget. Underestimating me had been her greatest mistake, and I finally could step into the room unapologetically as the person she had never seen coming.